it's funny because a little background of this, like, I'm going to clear up a couple things right out the gate. So
Yeah,
I'm the owner of Halo Touring, not some guy that works there. It's
gotcha.
a booking agency. We book tours. I used to work at Satellite Touring as a booking agent until I departed that company. They still book acts. And the truth of the matter is, the booking agent's job is to book the tour. It ends at that. We always go above and beyond, but I mean, sometimes you have bullshit that you have to deal with a tour. And I've been in the music business since 96 as a promoter, and I know this very well. And one of the issues you will run into as a booking agent, me personally, because you have the there's like five or six massive like booking agencies, multi-million dollar, billion dollar booking agencies. Like I had a friend tell me, I've never heard my friend at this agency complain. I'm like, that agency's worth 17 million fucking dollars.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure why they don't complain.
Hmm.
Um, but you have the massive and then you have the independent guys. And my belief as a promoter for many years, being on the receiving end of this is, even though it's a music business, and everybody always wants to say the music business this, the music business that. But what is the second word of music business? Business. And a business has to operate on a positive monetary revenue profit gain. It can't, or a break even. It can't operate on a negative profit generation. So when you're selling a commodity like an artist to a promoter, and the promoter wants a return on his investment. Now, if you look at a show, for example, and this is just throwing random numbers out for like a $3,000 artist, you're spending $1,500 on the venue, another $500 in their catering. Advertising this and that, it quickly becomes like a $6,000 show to where you are need 267 people to break even.
Mm.
And if you have ticket sales of like two or three or four, it's cheaper for the promoter and better to just cancel instead of paying that because less money. But then it comes down to a business standpoint of what a lot of promoters have taken on that have gotten smart after COVID. They adopted the Live Nation model. Live Nation does not sign contracts until 10 days out, no matter who you are. They don't pay deposits till 10 days out. Some promoters will tell you 30 days out, 10 days out, 15 days out. And then when a tour is not selling for whatever reason, um, at that point, they're going to want to cancel. And then the current state of the economy right now, for whatever reason, could be because of current tariffs or factors. Tickets ain't selling across the board. Alicia Keys canceled her tour. Beyonce tickets were down to $35. Shows are really suffering. And then when artists don't have extensive tour history and they care about these online streaming numbers or their Instagram numbers or their followers, the only thing the promoter cares about is hard ticket sale numbers. Like,
Mm.
are you putting asses in seats? Um, and I know why you asked me on here. Um, just to clear another thing out the air on that whole situation, I never canceled the tour. 12 shows were canceled of the 25 due to lack of ticket sales from the promoters who were paying substantial amounts of money. Some shows had two tickets sold that canceled, did not want to go through with the show. And the venue that had two tickets sold, his operational cost is $16,000 to open his doors. Um, Not counting what he was paying the artist. That is the operational cost. Um, I did not cancel the tour. I said that morning that we should push the tour back due to losing multiple shows and ticket sales being stagnant. Uh, and when I said that, I'm sitting working, minding my own business, and all of a sudden my Instagram is blowing up. And I'm not on social media. And I'm getting these, can I swear on here?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm getting these messages like, you fucking clown, you fucking idiot, do better business. I'm like, who the fuck is this dumb fuck? The block. And then somebody sends me the screenshot. And I'm like, what the fuck? So we had 12 shows on the books. Every one of those promoters found out when I found out on Instagram.
Mm.
And they all got notified the show's canceled for the artist canceling. And that is what happened. Even though for weeks going into this, I've been saying we have low ticket sales. I've been saying that we need to get ad access to people. That was delayed. I was saying that both sides need to be running ads. The promoters that were running ads and we checked for running ads still were not selling tickets. I expressed these issues repeatedly, expressed we needed video promo, didn't get that. The only thing I repeatedly heard is where is the money at for the marketing? But legally, I cannot release deposit money without being signed off by the promoters, and we only collected deposit from a few shows, and they refused to release it because I'd be liable for wire fraud. I didn't even have enough to cover my commission, and nobody ran ads on that side of the fence. And then they publicly canceled it and then said, which if you look at Halo Touring, am the booking agent, not the promoter.
Mm.
An example off the top of my head, he was at the Echoplex in LA. The Echoplex in LA is a Live Nation venue. Just like Aisle 5 is a Live Nation venue, which he wasn't out in your town. I
Yeah.
don't work at these venues. I am so that's what sparked a lot of that there. And then all of a sudden, I'm everywhere. And apparently, I'm just gonna say this, shout out to DJ Academics, who doesn't understand the difference between a promoter and a booking agent.
Mm. So I guess really, like that obviously that was a lot to unpack there. I guess really my first question out of all of that is where is your relationship right now with Bobby with him? I know after all those um, screenshots were exposed, well not even exposed, but more aired out, and
That screenshot, by the way, was from a week before that. I was extremely frustrated, and it was very unprofessional of me to lose my cool with the client, but it wasn't over the marketing that he tried to put in there. If you see the comment that his manager said, tempers flared, things were said, there was a lot of stuff said on that phone and threats made to me that made me react that way. We'll just say,
okay.
obviously, this is on the phone, so it ain't provable. So I'm not going to open it up to a defamation suit or anything.
Mm.
But it wasn't just one sided what was said. And
Did
then the next day, that's why the second screenshot you say, I said I overreacted and I apologize because I'm a grown man. You know, and I did I did lose my cool, which I shouldn't have, but every person has their limits. And that's what I said. And then I apologized. And then he said he was sorry too, which you see in the screenshot. He loved it and apologized.
mhm.
And then that happened on Saturday. He didn't cancel his tour until Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't there. I have the screenshots I could provide to where I told him to push his tour back. But yeah, we haven't spoke um, at all since this. I'm assuming I'm fired. I retained who I needed to retain for what was said about me and my business,
Mm.
and I'm not going to speak on that. I'm sure he's aware, and I am trying to deal with the media frenzy of what happened. Apparently, Flacco was in my live, and I didn't even know who Flacco was. Like that really happened. He asked me, and I may have called him a troll.
Oh no.
Um, yeah, sorry, I just didn't know who he was, and everybody was in there because I went live because everybody just kept. I kept getting death threats, and
Oh,
people like threatening to kill me. Like really now, I still am getting death threats. Like I'm going to get murdered, and
you
all
think you're
this
still
random
getting
people.
death threats?
I'm still getting death threats. Yes,
Wow.
from the organization that apparently he belongs to. He made that story video where he said, "Phil, I'm gonna pop your fucking cap back." If you've seen that, and
Yep.
tag me in. Yeah, so I've been getting death threats. Many people messaging me saying, "I've heard it all. I messed his tour up because I didn't promote it, which is not my job. That's not what the booking agent does. I ripped off Bobby money, even though a booking agent only gets paid 10% if the shows happen. I
Hmm.
received zero money from Bobby Shmurda. I received deposits from the promoters that were all refunded when he canceled the tour. And it wasn't, it was maybe 10% maybe of, it was less than 10% of the tour gross in deposits received.
Mm.
Let's put it that way. It's probably 5% of the tour gross. Um, they were refunded back. That was another accusation that's been made. There's been an entire media frenzy going on saying I'm a promoter and all this. And I don't know how to make that go away. So I'm just like, I guess I have to defend my name of what happened here.
Well, hopefully that's
I
what this can do as well, you know, give you
yeah,
enough now.
and transparency. Some people took something greatly out of context. Bobby Schmurder didn't have 10 tickets sold to every show. 10 tickets was the average across every show.
Mm.
Like that is the thing. And that I'm not making a defaming statement there, but one show, the highest ticket count selling on the show was 93 tickets.
Was there a reason why you decided to make that information public? Because I've seen that a lot from people as well, saying that
Why I made it public or why he made it public?
the 10 tickets per show average. Was there a reason why why you decided to let that out?
When Bobby made his post and tagged me in it and said that I screwed up the promotion on his tour and he's canceling due to lack of ticket sales, at that point I was extremely frustrated. And I have all the receipts for every ticket count and everything. I asked for months instead of the proper advice because usually when I give people advice of what they're supposed to do, they listen because I've done this for a long time. All advice I give was completely ignored. And the honest to God truth, the average tickets across the entire tour was 10. But that's taken out of context because the highest show on the show is 93. The next one down was 23. After that, it was 22. After that, it was 10, 12, 5. And I have a whole bunch of zero tickets sold.
Mm.
That's the honest truth. Now, is this his fault? I ain't going to say it's his fault. I will say that this tour, what should have happened in a perfect world is when your booking agent tells you and your manager you should push something back, this would be in your best interest. That should have been handled internally and it should have been pushed back. At that point, and you've seen this probably a million times, due to unforeseen circumstances, this show has been rescheduled. Or due for unforeseen circumstances, this has been canceled. The promoters could have quietly pulled it down, quietly did what they did, and there'd have been no blowback. He went publicly with it, and when he went public with it, what he chose to do, he also chose to cancel the other remaining 50% of the shows we had.
Mm.
Those still weren't canceled. And I said to multiple times, we should push this back, go out in the fall. It would be better. Could be a better environment, more time to promote it. Because the rollout was not properly done for this tour. There's the truth. And rollout's not handled by the booking agent. That's handled again by management. I've
So,
done, go ahead.
oh, sorry about that. I was just gonna say, so for the booking agent, you're saying the booking agent is really mainly responsible. So you were mainly responsible for um, booking this artist at the certain venue, and that
You
was.
negotiate with, you pitch it to the venues, you negotiate with the venues, you get offers from, you get holds from the venues, you get offers from the venues, you negotiate the contracts, you bring the offers to management, you send the contracts over, you collect the deposit, you send the itinerary and the routing to the manager. We were talking to every single venue's marketing team, every single venue's, all these things we was dealing with. And the other thing I'll say is on this tour, straight up, these 25 shows, I had independent buyers, I had Live Nation, I had club owners, I had, and this ain't naming the particular person, I had everybody's favorite, one of those random guys that's selling slots to the show. You can pay me some money and get on the show. I
Mhm.
had those guys that couldn't even sell slots for this, or that had zero tickets. It
Wow.
was consecutive, the lack of ticket sales was consecutively across the board. There was not one bad market. It literally was Santa Cruz is doing abnormally high,
Mm.
and it was at 93, Santa Cruz was. And the next one down after that was 23. Like the ticket sales were extremely low, and I was saying this for weeks.
So was there ever a plan from you or management to maybe take him out of these, 400 to 700 capacity venues and maybe just put him into, the club scenes, just doing appearances, that type of deal? Or was that something that management and you, kind of decided was not?
He wanted to book a hard ticketed bus tour. That's what they wanted to do, a hard ticketed venue tour, not a club tour. I don't book club tours like that because a nightclub, it doesn't matter who you put in there.
Hmm.
We did a club, we did a hard ticketed venue tour per the request. I was told prior to going into this, new music was coming out, the tour on. That's why the tour was booked.
Hmm.
There was going to be promotion put behind this, content. Um, the last post on the wall I seen promoting the tour was on April 8th. The wrong tour flyer was posted the entire time, even though we had more the wrong dates on there, which was repeatedly presented to the people on the other side, and that never got corrected. People were still getting ad access towards the end of April. We finally got a tour reel, a promo tour reveal at the end of April.
Hmm.
Um, I heavily said that this should be pushed back with a proper rollout because to say the promoters didn't correctly promote this isn't fair when they didn't, when a lot of them didn't have the correct tools. And in this current age of music and live touring, you can't just rely on your name. You can't So when I worked at Satellite Touring, we booked for Soldier Boy. Like when I was the secondary agent on that, I book like we book Soldier Boy, like they do. Still, you have to actually put marketing behind it and push this and follow through with it. You can't just put the artist's name up. And I see this out of some promoters try to do this. We had one on this tour that tried to do this. They put the artist's name up. They didn't do anything. They didn't promote it or anything. They put the artist's name up like he's performing this date. And I'm not talking about Soldier. I'm saying on the tour we're
Yeah.
discussing. He put the name up. I didn't sell any tickets off me putting the name up. I need to cancel because some promoters really try to do that. You have to actually promote the shows. The problem with it is it's both sides need to do it. And if you're seeing across the board, there is a discrepancy to where it's not translating into hard ticket sales, and you're reaching out. You're getting the feedback from the promoters. You're like, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? And you're hitting up management. The management saying, hey, we have a problem here. We have a problem here. We need to do something. We have a problem. And I said this multiple times. We are going to lose this whole tour. It reminded me of that meme you see the dog drinking the coffee and the house is on fire. This is okay. This is okay. That's what it was. Like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's like, no, it won't. I've done plenty of tours. Like, it's a business. No, you can't ask anybody to take thousands and thousands of dollars of losses across the board, and you didn't give them the correct tools they needed to correct it. And they have all these points that they point out. You didn't do this. Like we asked for ad access back here a month and a half ago, and you're just getting it to us this week. We don't have no ticket. You're posting the wrong flyer without our date on it. We don't have a proper tour reel for this. The artist stopped posting on X day to go. Like, I'm not paying you a deposit, a cancellation fee. You guys didn't do your side of it. Like, and that's the problem with it. I don't, in my business at Halo Touring, we're an independent booking agency. Here's the truth behind it. I have to make sure there's an equilibrium between the artist, management team, and the promoter where both are happy and both are making money. And it makes sense for both. Because I'm not in a business to put an artist on the road, screw over all these promoters. He gets a quick bag and they never want to deal with me again because I just ripped them all off. If you look at it from the promoter standpoint, if you're running a business, just saying it like this, that's selling hamburgers, and you're selling hamburgers for $5, but it's costing you $30 to make a hamburger, you ain't gonna be in business too long.
Right.
And that's just the simple basics of business behind this. Um,
So I guess my next question is so if you're laying this all out for them, ticket sales are low.
yes,
There's no big single right now. I mean, I know Bobby's released like a single in 2025, but nothing's
he
been
has a
shipping.
single he's pushing, but yeah, that was on a management side because management wanted to do the tour because they were told new music was dropping. That's what
Okay.
management said. I
So
don't
there,
really facilitate that part of it.
yeah.
I mean, and new music isn't always relevant with touring because if you look at Immortal Technique, um, I live on the West Coast. He sells out 500 cap rooms every time. Immortal Technique hasn't released any fucking music since Bush was in office.
All right.
Yeah,
So
that's the truth. Like,
but I guess with other artists that you have under Halo Touring, I was looking at your website earlier. You guys represent guys like Jim Jones. You guys represent guys like Flo Rida. Do you think that this?
we have a non-exclusive agreement with both. We have the ability to book both those guys. Have never secured a booking for either one, but we have the ability to.
Okay, what does that mean? You have the ability to? Is it like you
If you
can't?
can get it, you have permission. If you can get me an offer and bring it back, we'll take it. You're not my exclusive booking agent.
I understand. Okay, so if you get a good offer, you could send it to them and they'll accept it or decline it, type deal.
Yeah, correct, and then pay us for it. That's why it's on. There's non-exclusive. They have multiple agents. If you look at somebody like Finesse Two Times, on Finesse Two Times is exclusive booking agent. Shaggy Two
Okay.
Dope from Insane Clown Posse, his exclusive booking agent. Sky Daddy, her exclusive booking agent. Skits Craven, his exclusive booking agent.
Do you see
Um,
this recent back and forth between you and Bobby affecting your future clientele or current clientele?
Current clientele has not said anything about it. Future clientele, definitely. Like, I mean, it's not. It's the back and forth between me and Bobby. Um, Publicly out there, he came at me and threw me under the bus. And it comes down to platforms. Like, and I'll use say it like this: if I went and punched a random dude in the face, no one's gonna give a shit. If Elon Musk did it, where's it gonna be at?
Mm.
Like Bobby has 5 million followers. Bobby blasted me saying that basically it's my fault for the tour and I handled the promotion, which is outside of my scope of my job, throwing me under the bus. At that point, I pointed out what the ticket sales were, the honest truth, but that is definitely detrimental, damaging to my business. Also, the amount of death threats that I've been receiving, you know, is absolutely ridiculous. Which, the whole thing definitely could have been avoided and handled correctly. But yes, it definitely will have a negative impact on my business. And the
Do you,
fact that
do you think
Vlad has
that it
done
was?
less.
Oh, sorry. I was just about to say, do you think that it was Bobby posting all this and airing it out, or do you think it might have been your response to it with airing out that there's only 10 tickets per an average per show? Because I know that a lot of people are now, it's almost 50-50 in terms of he's getting clowned hard on socials because
What I think happened is he made his post, airing it out, tagging me, tagging his manager, thinking what was going to happen is we're just going to get destroyed on social media. You see artists do this all the time, throw their manager or somebody under the bus. Instead, I posted what the actual ticket count was. I don't have the platform and the access of these people like DJ Vlad and all this.
yeah,
They came looking at mine and go, "What the fuck?" And they because they see the post I'm making,
yeah.
people probably started contacting promoters and venues and verifying it. All I did, all I did was respond back to what was brought to me. Like when I'm receiving death threats and all this in my inbox, people telling me that I don't know how to book a tour, I don't know how to promote a tour, damaging my business because this gentleman, instead of listening to the advice of pushing the tour back or publicly having a conversation, he chose to go to social media and make a giant post saying that the tour is being canceled due to my fault when I didn't even cancel the tour. We lost 12 dates that he knew about, and he decided to cancel 13 himself
Mm.
on social media. Um, I think that the media outlets, when they seen that, it gave them a story that they wanted because I've done this for a long time and I can't wrap my head around how any artist that has that large of a platform would have that low of ticket sales, to be transparent with you. I know in the promoter world, the reality of it is nobody cares about streaming numbers, nobody cares about Instagram numbers, Facebook numbers, TikTok numbers, your album sales. They only care about what your hard ticket sale numbers are. Are people going to come buy a ticket to see you? That's what it comes down to.
Mm.
And that low of ticket sales should have definitely it was very alarming. Most artists would have not even wanted to go out. Like as somebody that's dealt with a lot of artists, in what capacity when you're an artist of any stature outside of a local stature that you're going to want to perform in front of 100 people or 9 people? And now take into account you're talking about a guy with 2 million monthly listeners.
Mhm.
Those shows would have probably got up to maybe because we were at the beginning of May, we were a week and a half out, and we had ticket sales at 28, might have shot up to 150. But you shouldn't want to go out and perform in front of that. That's going to kill your brand. That's the biggest issue with that.
And again, that brings me up to the point of why not, you know, alternate and go to like club performances? Why not do smaller venues where like a crowd of 23, 30 people would look a lot bigger?
From what I have seen, after this got canceled, it looks like the gentleman is doing club performances. That's what I see posted on his social media. That's what he's choosing to do. To do. He does very well in the club circuit that has a built-in crowd. Um, from what I've seen, um, you can't really scrap a tour um, in the middle of a tour and start booking clubs because the venues are hard ticketed venues. They don't run these clubs. You're talking about nightclubs, which is two different animals. When you have shows on Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's a hard ticketed venue tour. Or even Monday on nightclubs, you have Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, um, and then there is no way to do that. And then it's a lot. It's a lot. It should. The handling of it was completely wrong. But yeah, and then downsizing to smaller rooms, looking at the ticket sales, transparent with you, and then um, looking at the ticket sales being Trans
Looking at the ticket sales.
the room would have to be pulled down to a 100 cap room, maybe even less, which wouldn't even make any sense. Because you look at the ticket sales, like the highest we had was 93. That might have picked up and been a higher amount of ticket sales to maybe 500, maybe because it's 93 and it was a month out. But the shows after that, we had shows that had 6 tickets, 0 tickets sold. LA had 15. Chicago had 0. Like downsizing the room on that, you're asking the promoter to downsize the room. A lot of these rooms are owned and ran by those clubs that are 500 cap rooms.
Mm.
That's also going to kill the brand as well. I wouldn't expect an artist that has a massive following to be doing 100 cap rooms.
Was there ever talks of maybe adding somebody else onto the tour?
He rejected it.
Okay. Bobby
I
rejected.
suggested that as well to add support, and the artist himself rejected that
Okay.
idea.
So I just kind of wanted to kind of pivot to another question here of, at any point, would you say that this was a miscommunication when with Bobby when it came to ticket sales? I mean, was he in the know that he only had 10 tickets sold as an average for each show before
He was in every single message sent to the manager and him directly to his cell phone.
so he was always up to date when it came to knowing that
Yes,
shows weren't selling, and
correct.
they still kept the idea that they wanted to go with these bigger venues, these 400 to 700 venues. Uh,
Never was once asked to downsize. No.
wow. Okay. Um, so well, I want to talk about these ads a little bit. I know you said that you don't really have anything to do with the promotion of this tour, but do you
Mhm.
know how these ads were targeted? I mean, being the booking agent, I'm sure that you were in those calls of how they were going to target these ads.
Um, on the artist side, I kept being told on the artist side who's going to spend $10,000 in ads. Um, Never seen those ran. The promoters were running um, link click ads and conversion ads from his page when they got ad access or through their page. They were doing email blasts. And promoters did spend their marketing budget on it. With receipts, we got receipts for the marketing budget spent. Well, we got the tour promo video in April, the end of April that we was asking for way before then. We never got never ended up getting the what's the word am I looking for? The drops,
Mm.
the shout out drops that were asked for. We never ended up getting those ever. So
So with
that
$10,000, they were only able to get a promo video and a couple email activation.
no, no. That's not what I'm saying.
Mm,
No, I'm saying that the independent promoters all have an individual ad budget, what they're doing. They're running ads, they're doing their marketing their way. On our side of everything, I was being told that there was going to be $10,000 in ads ran from the artist side.
got you. I understand.
Never seen that happen.
Okay.
We got a delayed tour promo reel video a month after the tour was announced to the promoters.
Okay.
Was it some screen some shots of performances, and then says it rolls the tour number things on it.
And so when you're talking, I'm now talking about kind of your screenshot saying that you had all these receipts, and I know earlier on you mentioned that you had these receipts you'd be willing to share. What are these receipts? Like, are these just conversations between you, the artist, and the management team? Are they like physical, like emails? Like, kind of, can you explain what receipts you have and what receipts like this is going to really show?
What does this say? Ad access. You pay have running ads. It looks like we never received our ad access material. Could you give it to us? Date 4/28. Next one. 15 general admission tickets. Date 5/2. That's what everybody want to see. 28 general admission tickets. Boston. Date 5/2.
Wow.
15, let's call it, was Los Angeles 5/2. These are the shows that were canceled. We currently have 9 of 500 tickets sold. Washington, D.C., 5/2.
Oh my goodness.
This is what everybody wants, the receipts. What's this say? 9 sold since last report, the 5/5. Right there.
And these were all constantly in contact with the artist, with the team, and you.
17 sold, yes, 5/6. Everybody was in contact for the whole thing. Right there. 23 sold.
Mm,
5:30. But everybody's seeing this one. Denver, zero sold.
yep.
I don't want to pull these up because these right here are other things right here, two sold. This was today. I got this one today, May 8th. 30 sold, 5.9.
Mm.
So
So sick tickets are still being sold to this tour that's not
no,
happening.
they refunded it. That's the final ticket count for the refunds. But
Okay.
yeah, I have all the receipts because everybody's like, that's cap, that's cap, that's cap. I have all the receipts.
If you'd be willing to send those over, we could totally, have those up on the article for you as well.
Sure. Where's this going to anyway?
So this is gonna go on. I don't know if you checked out the Wish Music page. It's gonna go on Wish Music. We also have a website. It's called Wish Music. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We only really have the Instagram and the website right now.
That's cool. I left this conversation, but here's more. You're gonna have to block out a bunch of this stuff.
Yeah, no problem.
But him flat out saying he doesn't want to pay for his own travel or his own shit and booking, literally booking don't want to pay for travel and booking a show in the middle of a tour we have booked, so we have to cancel a show. It's all right in there.
So this current show that he has coming up,
He booked it himself.
okay, okay.
He canceled the show we had out here, one of the major shows we had out here, so he could go do that club show himself.
Okay. But that wasn't with Halo at all either. It was
No,
himself.
it's independently booked by Bobby.
Okay. And so, but is Bobby under the same kind of contract that Flo Rida and like Jim Jones are on, where it's like if you get something, you'll book
No,
it?
so Flowrider isn't even under contract. Somebody I know on the management team is like, if you bring us something, we'll take it. Same with
Gotcha.
Jim Jones. It's a handshake agreement. Bobby Shmurda, we were supposed to be Bobby Shmurda's booking agent. No one else is booking for Bobby Shmurda.
So how does he get this con or this club show if only
The
you got?
rappers, artists do that all the time. They book their own thing in the middle of the tour, and what are you going to do? On their own one-offs. That's what they do. They got offered more money. I'm not going to mess with his money.
Okay.
I guess. There was no pushback on that as canceled him as he asked. But you can read, you have it in front of you, you can see
Yeah.
what was said. Like,
Yeah. I'm gonna pivot away from the Bobby stuff because having all this stuff to unpack, I'm sure you're tired of talking about it as well.
eh.
Um, I kind of want to talk about you a little bit. I want to talk about where did you like where'd you grow up? I know you said you're in the West Coast right now, or were you born
I
in?
grew I grew up in Washington State and Oregon. Started in the music business in Portland, Oregon. Lived all over. Lived in San Diego, California. Cut my teeth in rap shows in San Diego, California, 20 years ago. And used to book punk shows as a promoter. The first tour I ever booked was X-Rated in 2019. This is a booking agent when he was fresh out of prison after doing 27 years for murder. Booked that tour, very successful. Was booking stuff independently, not working in an agency, and then ended up getting hired from an agency. Always been doing the booking myself, understanding how it worked. We learned a lot of stuff working in an agency, but then just decided I didn't want to work there. I wanted to work for myself. Um, it's a lot easier to be your own boss than work for other people.
For
And then
sure.
it's everything with being a booking agent, it's independent. I mean, it's commission based. Like if you don't make good bookings, you're not gonna, you get a percentage of the money you're working at, and that's all it is.
Hmm. So growing up in Washington State, like what was it like growing up in Washington State? What was the community like? What was the atmosphere like?
It's rainy and wet. Easiest way to say it, rainy and wet. I'm 43. I'm fairly old, so it's always a lifetime ago. World's different, change. Back when I was growing up, rap wasn't even popular.
Wow.
Everybody listened to like grunge and bands and stuff. I was the weird guy for listening to rap.
So what made you turn to rap? Like what made you want to invest
I
in?
don't know. I listened to punk rock. I listened to rap. What made me invest into doing hip hop shows? There's a lack of demand for independent people on the independent side, independent agents. I love hip hop. But outside of the big agencies, you only have a couple independent guys, and that's it. No one's doing it. But you have the managers usually trying to book the one-offs themselves. Are booking it. These guys ain't touring. When you look on the band side for bands, there's like a million agencies on there.
Yeah,
Filling a void, a necessary void.
absolutely. working with so many different artists, I know so many different personalities are involved. Um, have you ever had something like this where it was such a like a back and forth, such a an argument?
There's been arguments before, they've happened. Things get said. I mean, people lose their cools. To this level, no, never. Like, never. Like, usually when, there's a back and forth on something, it happens and you move on from it. There's going to be disagreements in business just like life. But, the major issue is when there's a back and forth, there's an issue with something, you take it into social media and blowing it up like that is just really bad. It creates a whole thing. Like things should have been talked about privately. The issues of it is, you've seen the receipts I just sent you.
Mhm.
Like a lot of things could have been prevented with it. Like if it was just talked about privately, that's usually what would happen internally. I mean, I have back an artist, and I won't say the name, the former agency I was working for. Um, we booked a tour for him. He was support for a big. They were support for a bigger act,
Mhm.
and they wanted us to drop our fee to 5% instead of 10. And said absolutely. The boss asked the boss. The boss is like, no. I'm like, absolutely not.
Mhm.
So he flat out fired me at
Wow.
that point. And then went off on me because I wasn't moving quick enough to get all the information over to his manager, his new manager. I sent it to his manager, and then I told the agent for the bigger artist. It was a massive artist. I told the agent, and I said, "Hey, we're no longer representing him. This is like one of the major corporate agencies.
Mhm.
I'm like, we're no longer representing him. We won't be involved in the tour. Best of luck." And immediately he said, "Okay, that's fine." Then immediately I just get hit on a sidebar email like, "What happened?" And I'm like, well, I got fired. What'd you get fired for? And I was like, because they wanted us to take 5% instead of 10. And then he's like, are you serious? The person's only getting paid this amount. This is literally over $50 he fired you over. This is ridiculous. Like you see that all the time, but that ain't publicly out there. I mean, that guy went on, did have that artist went on, did that tour, had a very successful tour. We never got paid for it because we were fired, rightfully so, that we don't get paid for it. He's that person's career is successfully going on along the way. We were just a part of the career. There was no thing about this, even though I felt some way about it, but I told the guy, I said, best of luck to you and your career and your endeavors on it. He said a few choice words about how he felt about me to me, and it's been a couple of years and we still haven't talked. He's doing fine, but it's whatever. It's part of the business. Like it doesn't blow out to this out of proportion.
And you said you don't want to name that artist that you.
Negative.
Okay.
No reason to name them. There's no reason to now. That was handled privately behind closed doors like it should have been. There's no reason to name anybody. And that's how business is supposed to be done. The problem is when you lash out at people publicly, it creates a lot more eyes on the situation.
Yeah. Um,
That's
has any of your business ventures ever gotten physical? I mean, looking at some of these text
no.
messages, you talk about, wanting to catch a fade and stuff like that.
I
Um,
was frustrated. No, no, and that was I didn't even. That's getting completely taken out of context because what was said to me on the phone was pushed buttons and definitely provoked it. And I was threatened on the phone, and my response, if you read the messages, if you want to,
mm,
which goes in line like if you're a reasonably prudent person reading the messages there, the thing is what I say to him verbatim: if you need the booking address to send a lawsuit, let me know. And if you want to catch there ain't no B here. You ain't gonna talk to me that way. If
yeah,
you want to catch a fade, we can run the fade. That's what was said. And then the manager said, per the messages, things were said on both sides, tempers flared.
yeah,
So obviously there's more to the context of what people want to snip it out of it, like based off that.
yeah.
And
Just
then
want,
even on his response to me, where I said stuff, I lost my cool, my bad, and he said, "Yeah, I apologize to you for what I said." It was on both sides. Things were
yeah,
said on both sides.
absolutely, absolutely. Just trying to, kind of clear that out as well. Seeing if there's been ever a history of something like that.
No, no, never, 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 never. I'm not a violent person like that. I just felt what was said. I lost my cool in that moment. That's not definitely not me. That's definitely out of my normal character. Like, definitely not that guy.
Yeah, and
And
I,
then, actually thinking about it, because hindsight's 2020, and looking who that person is I said that to, it probably wasn't one of my smarter moments in life.
probably not.
Yeah, like I didn't realize. Um, well, I mean, it doesn't matter. I said what I said, but yeah, I lost my cool. But yeah, we are definitely from different lifestyles.
Yeah. I think, yeah, one of the reasons why like that specifically has been taken out of context as well is just because, you know, in that sort of life, something like catching a fade is real. Like that is, those are real fighting words that need to be enacted on when you let something like that go. And yeah, so I think just, that specifically is what really caught people off guard as well. Just seeing, you know, you almost standing your ground against
Well,
Bobby.
yeah, I was hypothetically, I was being called a bitch, threatened to be sued,
Yeah.
um, threatened to be a case caught over me. Hypothetically, those things may have been pushing my buttons.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm not, because obviously there's no proof of this because this is verbal altercation.
Mhm.
Um, I obviously can't confirm or deny that those things are happen, but that in a hypothetical scenario would make me react like that.
So are you currently in talks for a lawsuit with Bobby and this tour?
I cannot comment on any sort of legal ramifications. Unfortunately, there is anything of that nature could not be talked about, and if something like that was to happen, the Mr. Schmurders would be very aware of it, and it would be between me and Mr. Schmurder.
Understood. And just to reiterate, you and him have not talked since this whole blow up. There's been no,
You've seen the text. You've seen the last thing I said to him.
yeah.
Like, yeah, the thing I told you to cut out. You've seen in the last
Yep.
thing I said to him. Like, which probably sparked your question. Yeah, but yeah, no, we've not talked at all. Not at all. There's nothing to talk about. I mean, he publicly canceled his tour. He stated he didn't state. Let me word that. He changed the facts of what the actual job positions are. Maybe it was a misunderstanding on his end on who handles the promotion, which based off the evidence I sent you couldn't be the case.
Yeah,
But he did make a post stating things that paint me in a certain narrative that isn't true and is damaging to my business. So I have no desire to speak to him or his team. I had to deal with promoters that were very upset and let them when they found out their shows were canceled on Instagram. I had to deal with that and deal with the damage control under that. But yeah, I at the end of the day, no, I have no desire to say anything or speak with him. I mean, to be honest with you, you've seen the video where he threatened to shoot me in the face or pop my pull, keep effing with him, and he said pop my cap back.
mm,
When somebody makes a post like that and tags me, I have no desire to speak to them at that point.
makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
So I want to wrap up here.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you once again for coming on this call with me.
Okay.
I If there's any last things that you would like to say before this wraps up, I'm all ears right now, and yeah, floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, like if people are interested, where I'm always down to help artists. Even I deal with mainly independent artists. Ain't a big corporate agency here. I've done this for a long time and have a lot of knowledge. If anybody ever is interested in, being helped or possible representation, they can hit me booking at halotouring.com or Philip Stengel or Halo Touring on Instagram. Both of those are mine. On how I do business, I'm not out here trying to hand a bloodbath out to promoters to where they lose money. So, I understand it from a promoter's perspective and I understand it from the artist's perspective. So I try to do what's best for my clients by keeping in balance with the promoters as well.